He killed there in Ireland, not too far from Dublin, headed into 2023 with serious momentum, didn't he? An expectation beat Wilfredo Flores on the lead wood, Mauricio Lara undercard in February before suffering, as we said, a real shock defeat to Mexican puncher Jose Felix in Dublin on the undercard of Katie Taylor's first fight with Chantel Cameron, before heading back to the 3 Arena once again, same slot, chief support for the same fight, Cameron Taylor 2, but a different result. He returned to winning ways against Reece Mould, and as he just said there, he feels now that he's back on track.
Yeah, and that's the right mindset to have. Reece Mould, a very good fighter. He's beating a good opponent there. Exercise some demons, like I say, so you can really push on. And that's why I believe Patera, for both fighters, is the correct matchup for the two of them. I mean, the winner then can push on. Do you search for European title? Patera, former champ. It's good matchmaking. It's a tricky fight for Cully, and it's a tricky fight for Patera. Can't always talk about Cully here. You know, Patera has boxed at the higher level. He knows what it takes to win big fights, and yeah, he's proven. He's tricky. He can box on the front foot, on the back foot. He's a bag of tricks. But Cully, I like what I'm seeing here. Actually, I've always said he does come tall, Gary Cully, and you can understand why he's a tall fighter, but sometimes you want to be able to change. Saw that in the Felix fight. Yeah, you want to change your levels, even when you're a tall fighter. You want to get that chin down. I've seen there, ever so slightly, that chin is just tucked in slightly, and that's what's needed, especially when under attack. You don't want to be leaning out of range with the chin up. But what he does have in abundance is a lot of ability. He's got a lot of advantages. When he gets behind that jab, he sets up that left hand really well. Good variation with the shot, jabs to the body, lots of feints, and I'm a big fan. And look, a lot of the top fighters, not all of the top fighters, I was about to say, have suffered defeats. Obviously, Joe Calzaghe, Marciano, and Floyd Mayweather have not been defeated. But if you look at Lennox Lewis, who before Alexander Usyk was the last undisputed heavyweight champion, he lost twice. In this sport, we've got to kind of get away from that, I believe. I think as long as
that stigma, though, that's worrying. These fighters are terrified of losing, though, Darren, because they feel that, okay, now my promoter's not going to be interested in me. You know, it needs to go both ways.
Eddie said it, though. Eddie has. As long as you leave it all in the ring and you give it everything and you put up a good fight, you'll get another opportunity. And I think we need to just not worry about losing, all right? Just go in there. It's sport. You can win some, you can lose some. And sometimes I think it can hold you back from performing your best when you're fearful of losing. Yeah. It stops you from doing certain things. Oh, I better not really commit to this shot because I might get caught with a shot and lose. I think sometimes work to your assets.
Well, Gary no longer with trainer Joe McNally. I had a good chat with him this week, and he said after the defeat to Jose Felix, which we say was so heartbreaking for him at the time, he had to take himself out of Ireland, take himself out of his comfort zone in what really became a fight, as he just described it, to save his career. Parted on good terms with Joe McNally and Declan O'Rourke at the famous Rotunda Gym in Liverpool, and is now back in Nace. Niall Barrett, who you can see in the ring with him here, close friend, been with him on the journey since he was just 10 years old, taken over now as head trainer. Was second, of course, in his last 2 fights, so he's been in the corner. He knows him so well, and Gary basically summed it up to me, Darren. He said it feels amazing to have a coach who knows he has his back 100%, and when he goes to war, he's going to war with him. You're a fighter, Darren, throughout your career. You've built up a brilliant relationship with Tony Sims. How important is that trust?
Massive. This sport is so lonely. Let me tell you now, when you get in them trenches and you're in those late rounds and you're on your own in there and you're asking your help, you're calling for a bit of help, you get back to that corner, you've got that relationship, that friendship, that partnership with your coach, just to lean on them and get that bit of advice. And it's so important. I understand why some fighters leave different coaches, you know, another string to bow, learn a bit more, but I think chemistry is so important. For me, I couldn't imagine being with anyone other than Tony. That was so important to me and for my career. It works differently for different fighters, but yeah, strong relationship with your coach is pivotal for success in this sport.
Gary ranked 10th with the WBA at lightweight. Tank Shakur Lomachenko, the champions. It's a nice and easy division now.
Yeah, I know, but it just shows you, you know, you're only 2-3 wins perhaps away from securing yourself a big shot. When you're climbing up the rankings like that, there is opportunities for you.
talk about Francesco Patera. Of course, UK fight fans will remember him. He broke the hearts, didn't he, of the faithful in Newcastle in 2018 when he outpointed the then 17-0 Lewis Ritson, who of course is on the card. We'll be seeing him at today's public workout a little later on. Remember that night well, Darren. Eddie Hearn has just made his way into the studio, so hopefully we'll be able to hand Eddie a mic and he can talk over what we're seeing here as well. We might have to share a mic here, Darren, just for a moment. But just before we bring Eddie in, I was just saying there, Darren, the fight with Patera was actually the first night I was ever your T-boy in Newcastle, Lewis Ritson Patera. So
Wait, was that really?
it was. Was it still
How you
sugars?
didn't get the sack after that night, I do not know.
You know what? I dropped all sorts of coffee down myself. I burnt myself, scolded myself. But here is promoter Eddie Hearn. Eddie, like the outfit today, talk us through.
Yeah, I felt
don't wanna-
in Saudi, I think. I would just like to say that as I walked over, Darren Barker went, "Oh, I'm so white towel."
He's gone a bit big time, Darren.
No, but also,
Yeah.
I was hoping
we
that
do
you...
this every week.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? It's plain,
Oh,
just because
oh,
you did one international
oh,
trip.
I wanted a
you're little
cutaway.
bit jet lagged. Yeah, hey, the Saudi boys are here. Oh, well, Jamie wasn't there.
I'll be there next week. I'll be there next week, and I
All
can't
right,
wait,
calm
of course. The 5v5, not to make it all about myself, but Eddie, fight week finally here, rescheduled dates. We're finally here, as I say, and this feels big, and all the questions will be answered on Saturday night.
Massive. I mean, when we actually think about it, biggest fight in Britain this year so far by a long way, and perfect timing in the, say, explosion, I guess the resurgence, the resurrection maybe even, of boxing. You know, coming off the back of the undisputed heavyweight world championship fight, what a time for this to land. You know, DAZN, huge numbers last week, more subscribers in boxing probably than they've ever had before. Huge audience, 11,000 sold out at the Leeds Arena on Saturday, probably 3,000 or 4,000 Scots, all of them from Chorley. You know, I mean, Chorley's going to be quiet on Saturday night, that's for sure, but not in Leeds. Perfect timing. People talk about the big fights going to Saudi, etc., which is great because we're seeing them, but really important to put these mega fights on in the UK. This has got the Frochgroves field, this has got the Frampton Quigg field, this has got the Bellew Cleverley field. Must-win fight for both. Can't wait.
Was you always confident that this fight would happen? There was the delay, you know, politics, these things can happen. We're finally there now. One, was you sure that the fight would happen? And two, with that little bit of delay, who do you think that favours?
I think it favours Josh Taylor.
Yeah.
You know, I think that whenever you're tight at weight, or whenever the fights come around quite quickly, you know, and he's obviously coming off a defeat. It was a while ago to Teofimo Lopez. I just think it's going to favour you to have more time to prepare.
Yeah.
You know, I think he looks very healthy now when he turned up at the weigh-in. You know, look, is he getting a little bit older? Are there a few battle scars? You see the pictures this morning, you know, that we posted across the platforms of both of them in the hotel,
Yeah.
kit on, both in tremendous shape. Jack looks very strong. Oh, and the first fight was an intriguing fight. I think this will be an all-action fight, I really do. I think the emotion's going to be running high. There's no world championship on the line. It's about pride and honour.
Eddie,
And
just to pause you there, I'm told we need to throw back to the MC and then we'll continue our
Okay,
chat.
nothing
I know,
false,
sorry,
no.
I'm being told in my ear. Here's MC Ben again.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the diva, Gary Kelly. Up next this afternoon, we have an undefeated lightweight talent. He's a former national amateur champion. This weekend, he continues his professional boxing journey. He's undefeated in 2 professional contests from Guildford, Surrey. Please welcome Giorgio Rizzioli.
Eddie, sorry about that. The monitor's even gone down in front of us, so I'm not even 100% sure what the viewers at home can see right now. But sorry to pause you there. You were mid-flow, just as we bring Giorgio Rizzioli into the ring. But you were talking about the shape of both men from what you've seen this week.
I just feel that both are in tremendous shape, really. Like I said before, I think the first fight was intriguing. Jack Catterall is technically very, very good. I just think, like, the momentum and coming off the back of last week, I just think there's going to be a willingness from fighters to perform and entertain. And we've seen it so many times before. By the way, Rizzioli's punching very hard in there and sharp, as we saw from his first couple of knockouts as well. But, you know, and I think that we have to understand that sometimes the loss is not really the end of the world. If it's an incredible fight, we can see it again. You can get another opportunity, you know, and I hope that both guys will go in there and really let their hands go on Saturday and put it all on the line. It's difficult as well when there's so much on the line, and you know that if you're technically very good like Jack Catterall, why on earth would you come in and change and start fighting really aggressively and taking chances? I just think he can stop him. I do. I think if he fights that kind of fight and engages with him, I think he can stop Josh Taylor, and I just think it'd be a massive statement. And I think the ramifications of a statement like that will just rocket your career to a place. Don't forget, this fight is massive, right? We've got 11,000 sellout. It's live on DAZN around the world. It's on ESPN in America. Everyone's talking about the fight. It's going to get bigger and bigger. It's only Wednesday right now. If you perform on that platform under that pressure, then you can start calling out Teofimo, Haney, Ryan Garcia, all those people, because people want to see it. So for both guys, win, but try and win in style.
I think Jack's ranked at a minimum of number 6 across the board.
Yeah.
So you very well could see him be positioned for a world title fight if he can get through Josh
Listen,
Taylor.
I think the winner of this fight should 100% fight for a world title. And we're nice and deep at 140. You know, we've got Subriel Matias,
of
with
course,
Devin Haney, you've got Richardson Hitchens, you've got Liam Parra obviously fighting Matias, you've got Regis Prograis, you've got Dalton Smith, you've got all, you know, we've got so many fighters at 140. I just feel that, like, to grab the attention and get the shot, it's the performance that counts. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like if someone can win in here and win in spectacular fashion, gives you so much momentum to make a mega fight.
And it's a great card as well. Sorry, Darren, just to interrupt there. It's a great card. There's a lot of interesting fights on this. Paddy Donovan and Lewis Ritson, one that sticks out, potential crossroads for those guys. And this guy who's in the ring now, Giorgio Vizioli, like you said, copy and paste knockouts, weren't they, really, the first two?
We've got this real new surge of young fighters coming through, guys who are like 2, 3, 4, 5 and 0. And it's really exciting because some are going to make it and some aren't. But they're all going to get their chance to develop in the right way. And it's going to be really interesting to see who grabs the attention. George may have actually come into the pro ranks, maybe without the megaphone and without necessarily the amateur resume of an Olympian or a world champion. So what he's done with his performances, he's grabbed that attention away, right? And he's grabbed my attention as well. Because I think a lot of people, when he turned pro, yeah, George, what a great technician, so skillful. But will he carry the power into the pros? All of a sudden, 2 show real knockouts in his first 2 fights. You know, you saw with Hamza Udin the other week. It doesn't take a lot to grab the attention. And he's done it, you know, and I think he's one that's going to move nice and quickly. Hopefully win on Saturday, then maybe jump on that massive Johnny Fisher card as well. You know, I think Lewis Ritson's going to be well suited at 147 pounds in this backstage of his career, because I think he needs, you know, he needs to be strong in there. And I think it's a really fascinating fight with Paddy Donovan. He's just about 5 yards away from me. So the only question mark over Paddy Donovan is, what's he like when, apologies for my language, when the shit hits the fan, right? What's it like when you go to the trenches and you've got a guy who's 8, 9, 10 rounds deep coming at you? You saw in the last fight, because he was a bit ill-prepared, I think, Paddy, started to unravel a little bit, right? If you unravel against Ritson and you allow him to get that momentum, it's going to be a tough
Well,
night.
short notice, wasn't it? It was a quick turnaround, wasn't it?
It was, I agree, but also, and I think this is bad news for Ritson, because I think after that performance, it would have given him a wake-up call and said, I ain't doing that again.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be in great condition.
And under chief support.
Yeah,
I mean, Chev Clark.
I was about to say, a nice, easy fight for Ellis Zorro to come back after Opetaya.
He deserves credit for
Massive
jumping into
respect
this,
for Zorro,
yeah,
because
big time.
if you get iced by Opetaya, you're surely entitled a little 8 or 10 rounder
Yeah,
win.
think so.
And this is like, we just got beat in Matchroom Queensbury at the weekend. We need to level up the score before Riyadh, you know. And it's a good fight. Like, let's not forget, you know, Chev is a really, really good talent. He is also at the moment British title level, which is the same with Ellis Zorro. That's why Ellis got beat by Jai Opetaya. Now, is Chev fringe world level? Is he European level? Is he world class? If he is, he'll win. And it's the way he wins on Saturday. If he breezes through Ellis Zorro, then you start saying, you know what? You're 2 or 3 fights away from challenging for a world title yourself. But Zorro's a good fighter. He'll want to bounce back on Saturday. And the fact that he's taken the fight without having to shows me they fancy it.
I'm intrigued with Chev Clark. Say all goes well, he wins for Matchroom, he wins the British title. What route do you go then? Do you start trying to climb the rankings in one of the divisions?
But basically, if you know, you've got, obviously we've got Jai Opetaya, you know, Boxer have got Riakporhe and Billum Smith. They're fighting each other, so one of them's going to be done. Isaac Chamberlain ran a mile from Chev, rightfully so, and he's fighting for the European title. So what you have to do actually is you have to position yourself within the world rankings. Maybe make yourself mandatory for the European title, but more importantly, build your way up to become a mandatory challenger for a world championship belt. But Chev still, you know, he needs this fight, he needs 1 or 2 more, and then we start looking at the world champions and saying which governing body are we going to particularly align ourselves to be mandatory. Chev, he's not a young man, he's still in the absolute prime of his career, and he'll want to move fast, and especially with his amateur pedigree. But the British Championship is a belt that when we first spoke to him, he said, I want to, you know, every fighter wants to become British champion. So Lonsdale belt on the line in Clark against Zorro, and it's a big fight for Chev.
I think he's going to be facing the very best of Chev this week, Ellis Zorro. He is right up for this.
Chev is a very... You talk about, you know, Usyk, you know, when he says about, I will not leave you alone. That's the same with Chev. He gets in there, his work rate from the bell, the first bell, is electric, and it's very overwhelming. I mean, you saw against Tommy McCarthy, you know, I think Zorro's going to be a much tougher test than Tommy McCarthy. He just didn't let him breathe. You know, and McCarthy would have a little bit of success, move him well, but in the end, you just have to stand there and trade. You know, I couldn't think of anything worse for a fighter than just someone that just wouldn't leave you alone. And especially if you want to box and move, and in the end, you have no choice but to stand there and trade. And once he gets hold of you, once he cuts the ring off, you know, once he uses his feet, you've got to stand and trade with him. And when you stand and trade with Chev, it's a handful.
Eddie, I think we're going to be swapping you out for a couple of fights in just a moment, so thanks very much for joining us.
Why don't you go? Why have I got to go? Why don't you go?
Well, do you think you could
hogging the
you could host it?
These days?
Oh, wait, I mean, you actually wanted to host a show in Liverpool, didn't you, a couple of weeks ago?
What, before you got
Before I got the call-up. Eddie was the first choice.
Can I just say, that is a genuine thing that happened, right?
It's true.
Where it was on the group chat that Addy was ill, and I actually replied and went, I'll do it. Yeah. No one even replied. They went, yeah, Jamie's good for it. Yeah, I was like, all right.
One day, Ed. One day, eh? One day. But thanks
when I
very
grow
much.
up, I want to be like you.
What's that? Yeah, do you?
Yeah.
You might be as tall as me one day. Just want to emphasise again, the slope is not doing me any favours. I mean, as I say, I still can't see what we're actually seeing, so maybe I'm just embarrassing myself for no reason.
What a talent, though.
But Giorgio Vizioli,
former Repton boy, the green and gold,
that's why he's
pride, and do you know what? He never stopped anyone in the amateurs, and now he's looking so destructive. And a note on that as well, to any young fighters out there, it's not about loading up, it's not about gritting your teeth and trying to deliver the shots, speed and accuracy.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Giorgio Vizioli. Up next is a man who always comes to fight. He's the former British lightweight champion, 26 fights, 23 wins with 13 big wins inside the distance. From Newcastle, the Sandman, Lewis Ritson.
it is interesting now, though, Darren, what you just said. You know, explain that. Why does that happen? Why do you go through the amateurs, not stopping anyone, and then you deliver 2 copy and paste knockouts on the big stage?
I think a big thing is your maturity, your man strength. And self-belief. He's always been a confident person, but sometimes your belief, your mental state is far ahead than your physical presence. And look, he's got his man strength now, and he's just looking so destructive. But what he's doing is he's using momentum from his opponent to really generate more power. So every time he comes on, his reactions and his timing is so good that he's just able to get the knockout. But this man here,
let's talk about Lewis Ritson.
Tough one.
The Sandman is back. Great to see Lewis going through his paces. Paddy Donovan has just walked in to set as well now. Paddy, good to see you. What a year you had last year.
Great to be here. Excited.
And you started the year well. You know, that turned out maybe being a bit of a tougher fight than you expected. We were just talking to Eddie, perhaps with the quick turnaround. We said in the build-up, perhaps the sternest test of your professional journey so far in Lewis Ritson. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? You can't take it away from the achievements that he had, the fights that he has under his belt, the experience he brings to the table. I'm sure he'll be itching. You know, these are the kind of fights in his career where he needs to get up for. He knows I'm going to be extremely tough task for him. But at this stage of his career, I'm sure he'll be ready for me. But yeah, excited. Eddie's known for putting some of the best fighters in the world together, putting on the best cards. And yeah, it's a great fight, paper. Ritson's a hell of a fighter, and I'm in great shape, and I'm ready to put on an amazing show here in Leeds.
Do you feel you've got a point to prove? And look, I thought it was good last time out. You know, a little flat in the middle rounds, but it's just about putting on a really destructive display on Saturday night.
Yeah, last fight was a potential banana slip. Everyone
He wasn't a bad fighter at all, was he?
Yeah, it was a good fight. He was a tough fighter. Yeah, it's a durable fighter. It's a fighter you're supposed to beat. I got caught with training, and I got illness and things like that. Not making excuses, but this time around, I've got great preparation. Me and Andy spent more time than we ever did together in the gym. working on new and specific things for Ritson. So yeah, they're going to see the best Paddy Donovan possible Saturday night.
I mean, you look at the doors that can open, Paddy, on the back of this. It's no secret the fights that are being talked about at 147, all under the Matchroom umbrella, of course. We know Lewis Crocker and Conor Walker collide in a really good fight, don't they, towards the end of June, but potentially a massive fight with yourself with the winner of that one.
Yeah, as I said, Eddie, Matchroom, DAZN, they're the best promotional group in the world right now. They're known for putting on the best fights, 50-50 fights. They put the champion against champion. I'm sure, as people know, Eddie is the most world champions in the world right now. So you get that from matching the best fighters against the best fighters. Right now we're in code to meet each other, Mia Crocker or Mia Walker. Right now on paper, it looks like if we get both wins, it looks like we're going to collide. But as I said, I've got a job to do with Ritson and not take my eye off the ball. And whatever Andy and Eddie decides and Keith, I'll go with it.
Impressed by that mindset?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Fight by fight. That again for me just shows how much faith you have in your team, and you've got a great man in your coach Andy Lee.
Andy's brilliant, you know, exceptional human being, great coach. He's like a father figure to me. It's great to have him and my dad alongside me since the start of this journey together, and learning from Andy every single day is an amazing thing. So yeah, just keep learning, keep progressing, and keep getting these wins and push for that world title.
We've got to ask you the money question, Paddy. How do you see yourself beating Lewis Ritson on Saturday night?
I think the first couple of rounds will be tough. He's going to be durable, he's going to put on the pressure, I think. But I think later rounds I'm going to get to him and show him who's boss.
And a quick one on the main event. How did you see that one playing out?
Yeah, cracking fight. Taylor, obviously, after the last performance, I don't know. I'm going to go Catterall. Just going to cut right to it and go Catterall. Taylor's a great fighter. It's 50-50 fight, two amazing fighters, two guys I look up to, but I'm going to edge Catterall in this.
Paddy, thanks so much for joining us. I know you need to go and get ready now for your own workout. Look forward to seeing the return of the real deal, Paddy Donovan, in the ring. Quick word, Darren, as we were just saying there, on Lewis Ritson, who's going through his paces just behind us. Great to see him back on the big stage. Certainly one of the good guys, isn't he, in boxing? Struggled a little bit with activity, hasn't he, really? Was due to face Cyrus Pattinson in an all-Newcastle battle. He was actually sat ringside waiting to announce the fight when Cyrus boxed Conor Walker last year, only for Conor to rip up the script that night. It was two first-round stoppages, one in the second round saw Ritson, of course, capture that British lightweight title outright in less than 4 months. Defeats, just the three of them, come to Patera, who's also, of course, on the card in 2019, which was his first defeat as a professional. Jeremias Ponce as well, and I believe it was a final eliminator for the world title in 2021, and most recently against O'Hara Davis. But as Eddie said, perhaps we'll see a rejuvenated Ritson up at 147 pounds as we throw back to MC Ben.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the Sandman, Lewis Ritson. Please welcome next to the ring one of the most talented boxers in Irish boxing. He's undefeated in 13 contests with 10 big wins inside the distance from Limerick, Ireland, the real deal, Paddy Donovan.
Well, what we have to do, Darren, Lewis Ritson, to halt a fighter like Paddy Donovan in this fight?
Experience. Try and call on your experience, manage the rounds, nick the rounds, be smart early, try and drag Paddy Donovan into trenches that he's not been in before, places you've been before, where you know you can hold your own, and that's hard, but you've just got to stay switched on. Don't let your head drop, don't let your chin come down and you sort of start feeling sorry for yourself. It's a marathon, not a sprint. There's a lot of rounds to play with here, so it's about sort of frustrating the younger, fresher man. The pressure is on Paddy Donovan, there's no question about that, so try and get the crowd on your side against him. Experience plays such a big part in fights, it really does.
Well, no doubt, as you say, he'll draw on that experience. Lewis Ritson, 9 scheduled 12 rounders, has 3 times gone the full 36 minutes. Paddy yet to complete 10 rounds, so certainly Ritson has the advantage in experience. But talking to Andy Lee, my favourite former middleweight world champion, of course.
Wait.
The best looking former middleweight world champion as well.
My favourite, to be fair.
And here's the Sandman's just wandered in. Lewis, sorry, I've got full hands, but great to see you as well. How does it feel to be back on the big stage once again, Lewis? It's great to have you back, I must say, as well.
Yeah, nice. Nice to be fit and healthy and back on, so looking a lot better, feeling a lot better, and ready to put on a good show Saturday.
You look completely different. You look solid. You look strong, feeling good at the weight.
I feel really good at the weight. I would say it's nice just to walk around and actually have a couple of pounds to lose instead of like 4 or 5 kilo before that, you know. So I'm going to feel strong, and I'm just ready to roll now.
Lewis, from my point, it's so great to see you back. You know, when
I know,
you see
just
that
saying
smile,
that.
I mean,
I know.
it reminded me of the early days.
One of boxing's good guys.
I've got to ask you, what is the ambition for you? You've achieved so much. For you now, standing here, genuinely, what is the ambition for you to keep fighting?
I've achieved a lot, but I still don't think I've achieved as much as what I can do. I'm not going to say I'm going to be a world beater or a world champion and stuff, you know. I've had a couple of world final eliminators now, got beaten them, so sort of found me level a little bit, but I would love to go on to win the European title, or a couple of big fights like this, you know, like, I love it, you know. I think this will be my 14th fight on Matchroom, like on a Matchroom bill. It's nice to be back and get a bit of buzz of the big scene. I don't feel as though I'm finished. I'm only 30. No, I've lost the hair, but that's two daughters, that. So, so I just feel I've just got plenty left now. I've got plenty of ambition.
Yeah.
Lewis, I really felt for you that night when you were sat ringside and it looked like we were going to announce a big fight, an all-Newcastle battle between you and Cyrus Pattinson, and Conor Walker ripped up the script, didn't he,
Yeah, he did,
that night? Was it difficult to pick yourself back up from that? Did you wonder where your next opportunity would come from?
Yeah, well, do you know, I've had loads of fight offers, accepted loads, and then loads have just been not happening. So it's like that. I haven't been in the gym. I think it's been a year and a half, but I've been in the gym non-stop working fit, watching what I've been eating and looking after myself a lot better than what I had done in the early days. So, no, it was a bit gutted. It would have been a good pay as well, do you know what I mean? That's out the window. So, but no, I know Cyrus got a bit of a bleed behind the eye or something, I've been told. So I hope he gets recovered as well. And you never know, maybe a good couple of wins will get that back on.
But you're back. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Paddy Donovan, what do you know about your opponent? How impressed have you been with him?
Do you know what? He's looked impressive. He has looked. But
There's a but here. There's a
but.
but.
But I feel as though I would have done that to the kids that he's been fighting as well. Right. Do you know, like, he's got a bit of everything. He can box, he can counter punch, he can fight, and sometimes he's a bit wild. But his last fight when he boxed the Argentinian kid, there was a couple of rounds there that were a little bit. I think it was 5, 6, and 7. And that's where I've looked before. I can jump on that and take an opportunity, drag him in, yeah.
Is the pressure all on him, as far as you're concerned, or what pressures are you putting on your own shoulders?
No, I feel all pressures on him. You know, I think quite a lot of people have wrote me off now, and they think I'm finished, they think I'm that. So I'm coming here for a good time, mate. You know, so hopefully I can produce that on Saturday. But I've no pressure. Usually I don't like the interviews. I don't like this, but. Just flowing, isn't it? So it's all right. I'm just happy. By
any means necessary. What have you got in your own mind, Lewis, about how you see yourself beating Paddy Donovan?
I've been there myself when I've been in a matchroom fight. You know, like the Vasquez one, where you know you probably haven't got it, but you get it. So I'm going to try not leave at the points, but the more you go looking for it, the more it doesn't happen. So we'll see Saturday night.
We can't wait. How good to see Lewis Ritson back. By the
what
way.
They say, I'll tell you what you strike me as, and that saying. A happy fighter is a dangerous fighter, and you seem very happy, mate. I
haven't been happy for a while, but I am now, so hopefully that can show Saturday and the old Ritson back.
Well, that's great to see. Lewis, great to see you back. Top man, Lewis. We'll just take that mic off you. I always remember, Darren, I don't know if you remember this, it was actually the fight week that Lewis just mentioned there, behind closed door against Vasquez, when he left you brutally hanging on a live stream. Do you remember?
Yeah,
you went, all the best, mate. Best of luck, mate.
You left
your fist out to give him a fist bump of respect, and he wasn't having any of it, was he?
I do.
I'm going to post that later. I'm going to post that later. Keep an eye out for that one. But Paddy Donovan, nicknamed the real deal. Andy Lee says he'll go as far in this game as he chooses to. What do you make of that?
Yeah, well, I mean, that is a great compliment, and he seems to have the bit between his teeth, the mindset, the desire, which is important. But I like what I'm hearing from Lewis Ritson there, and there's an aura of confidence from him. Happiness and contentment, if you like.
Ladies and gentlemen, up next we've got a man who always comes to fight. He has a solid record, 18 fights, 17 wins with only 1 defeat. He's the former WBO European Cruiserweight Champion from Bromley. Please welcome Elizardo.
Just a final one on Paddy Donovan there. Still just 25 years of age, but interesting to see Lewis Ritson, you know, maybe coming up against, like you say, the happiest version of Ritson he's been in a little while. This is an interesting fight, an intriguing fight at 147 pounds, as is this one. Cruiserweight title action coming up, Darren, this is a fight that we can't wait for.
Oh, I can't wait, and I've just got a glimpse right in front of us. The Leeds legend, Josh Warrington's here. He's not missing out on this. He needs a bit of the buzz, doesn't he? This is his fight city. But yeah, this man here, I just feel it's such a tough fight back for Ellis Oro. Chev Clark's got the bit between his teeth. Eddie said there, he's no spring chicken, Clark, so he really wants to get a move on and get stuck in and elevate himself up the rankings. So for Ellis Oro, after having that one-round destruction, which there's no shame in that whatsoever, he got caught cold at the end of the first round against a big punching Jaya Opataya. He comes back in a fight here with a well-scored fighter with tons of pedigree, who's got the bit between his teeth. It's a hard fight back, Jamie.
Yeah, as you say, he was in the ring that night with a man called Jai Opataya, last time out, who we saw win against Myris Bridis again on the weekend. No shame, as you say, Darren, to lose him to a fighter like Jai Opataya, but as you say, deserves a lot of respect.
Oh,
for jumping straight in. Eddie said it. No one would have begrudged Ellis Oro for taking an 8-rounder to, you'll know as a fighter, I imagine, to rebuild a bit of momentum, a little bit of confidence, just get the self-belief back, the feeling of winning back. Nobody would have turned their nose at that, at him making that decision. But to jump straight into a British title fight is great to see, really. And it shows where he's at mentally.
Exactly. And still, after a shattering defeat on a big stage, he still believes that, you know, I can push on. You know, I dared to be great, stepped up numerous levels, didn't go well, but look, I'm a worthy British title challenger, and I've got everything in my locker to become a British champion. Note on Opataya Bridis, I've got to say, what a legend Myris Bridis is. I thought he was absolutely down and out in that fight against Opataya, and he to come rallying back later. Hats off to Bridis, whatever he decides to do for the rest of his career. I take my hat off to you, but yeah, this is a tough night, I feel, for Ellis Oro.
Have you seen any vulnerabilities in Chev Clark yet that perhaps Ellis Oro could expose?
Look, he's probably going to go and hunt me down.
He will. That's why I asked you.
This is cruiserweight boxing. You get caught, you're going to feel the shots. And I feel there was once that he did wobble ever so slightly, and he's going to come find me in a minute, I've no doubt. Because I said that once before, and he went, I didn't get hurt, what are you talking about? But there's no shame in that, he didn't go down, he was fine. So, in all fairness, in answering that question, I'm probably contradicting myself a little bit. Though he was shook, he never went down, he was all good. But what will he be like down the stretch? What will he be like if things go against him, it gets tough? There's loads of questions, but he's ready to answer them. I'm a big fan of Chev in and out the ring, as I am Ellis. It's a good fight. I think it's a really good domestic dust-up, this.
Really looking forward to this. I'll tell you what we are going to do. We're going to bring in the man. We can't not bring him in, can we, Josh Warrington? Let's bring him in. The Leeds Warrior. Can he hear me? He can see me.
He's blanking you.
He is. He didn't fancy it, but he's got no choice now because we've already teed him up. I was going to say, send your invoice to Eddie, Josh. Josh, I must say, I messaged you on WhatsApp a little bit earlier saying it feels very strange being in Leeds and it's not a Josh Warrington fight week.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange. There's still a few people in, and you know, I think we have been starved of some big fights over here. Not just in Leeds, but in this country. So you know, boxing fans are everywhere out there. I think over the last 10-15 years, Matchroom have been at the front of the crowd of building boxing up back in this country, and now boxing fans are everywhere, and you know, including Leeds, and turned out today. But yeah, he's making me a bit jealous that I'm not fighting this week.
You've got itchy knuckles.
Yeah, I mean, 100%.
You took the words out of my mouth there, itchy knuckles, because I believe you're going to be part of the DAZN broadcast team as well.
Yes.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
So I imagine when you walk out into that cauldron of noise you've been so used to fighting in, that's your spiritual home, isn't it? The First Direct Arena. The itchy knuckles will get even itchier. What on earth is happening with Josh Warrington? When are you fighting? What is the next news? What's the next step? What's going on?
Yeah, well, it was an anniversary yesterday. It was 10 years ago yesterday that I boxed Martin Lindsay for the British on a Wednesday night show. And I think there were about 2,500 people in there, but it was incredible noise. I think I've not stopped training more or less since, you know, what happened in October. I'm looking to be out sometime soon, but I keep getting told we'll have some news next week. right up until I think 2 weeks ago, I was scheduled to fight Michel Lara for the third fight. I think he got to around 98% there, and for whatever reason, it's fallen through. It's not fucking good for upstairs, you know, but you just have to keep him in the gym.
Lee, the #1 pick for you.
100%, but, you know, I'm getting told that the fight can't happen for X, Y, Z reason. And it's like, I've heard every fucking reason, excuse my language, I've heard it, but it's frustration. I've heard every reason under the sun. Now, I'm getting to a stage where I feel Lee really wants to fight. And I also think that he wants to get paid, but rightly so. Potentially, it could be his last fight. And I think he realises that. But it's just all the little minor niggles, what frustrates you about being a boxer. And, you know, my age's in the gym, I'm constantly training, but sometimes it's hard, Darren. Yeah. It's hard to pick yourself up and, like, constantly push yourself to the limit. Because I do. When I'm in the gym, I train hard. I train like a demon every single session. But it's like, for what end products, you know? So I'm hoping we can get some news soon. Like, it's not like I don't want to fight. I'm willing to fight anybody. So I want to get back out there, you know. Inactivity is no good for anybody. And by the time they do get back into the ring, I will have had like 2 fights in 24 months, which is not good for anybody.
Before we talk about this show, who are, you mentioned Leeds and the great fight city is, who do you believe are the next guys and girls that are going to fly the flag for this city?
Well, we've got some great fighters coming through. I feel myself and likes of Nicola Adams have played a part in getting males and females into boxing into the city. We've got likes of Ishmael Davis, who's really, you know, making waves. People like Corbin and McNamara, people like Jack Pearson have still got huge potential. There's many of us who are just, you know, paving their way now. You know, some smaller names are coming through the smaller shows. So yeah, there's plenty to look out for in Leeds boxing.
Josh, just before we let you go, prediction for the main event on Saturday night.
We've all been the same.
You know, it's one of them where I feel they're both emotionally invested. They're both very emotionally invested in this one. I just wonder what kind of Josh Taylor's going to pull up. Because I feel like Jack Catterall, we shouldn't even be talking about it really. Jack Catterall should have won the first one. He should have got the decision. And he boxed out of his skin. But I feel like Josh Taylor didn't perform at his optimum. I feel like if Josh Taylor, who turns up as the Josh Taylor was coming through the regional, it could be more of an interesting fight. But I feel it's going to be nip and tuck. I'm kind of leaning just towards Taylor at this moment in time. I don't know why, but that's my gut feeling. Taylor,
right.
At this moment in time, just close, but could be very tight. I think it's going to be an aggressive chess match.
Nice.
Well, Josh, thanks so much for joining us. I will just say your dad's just turned up. He's making all sorts of faces and rude gestures at us from over the barrier. But look at him, he's in tremendous shape.
He's lost 5 stone.
5 stone, wow.
It's like
great to see Sean Hagan here. He looks brilliant. So, and we hope to see you back very soon.
Thanks so much, guys. Cheers.
Very soon. Substitution. Josh Warrington, the man coming off to be replaced by Siobhan Chev. C4 Clark. Chev, welcome.
Right, yeah, I'm going to say it before.
Go on.
Jamie said to me, are there any weaknesses in Chev? Is there anything there? And I went, he did get wobbled once.
Oh, wow. Is this what you're saying? It's okay.
I thought he was going to kill me. He went, what?
You know what I mean?
When did I get wobbled?
Specsavers, he's looking for a sponsor. Help him out.
He left his specs at home, I think. Chev, good to see you. How are you? Always in good spirits. We spent a bit of time together in training camp, and this feels like an important chapter in your story, not just as a boxer, but as a person as well. Is that fair to say?
It's always been important. The whole journey's been important. It's just, at this point, I get to shine a light on the people that have helped me to get here. So I suppose in that aspect, it is an important chapter.
How proud of a moment would it be Saturday night to have that Lonsdale belt wrapped round you?
It would be great. I'll be making history. I'll be the first person in my family to get it. Second, don't quote me, from Kent and Gravesend to get it behind Harry Darmy, the legend himself. So, yeah, it'd be really, really special.
By the way, he is stato. Whenever he comes on before the bell, he comes out, like I swear he's got a book about that fat, with stats that he just pulls out.
Boxing encyclopedia. You do your homework, Chev, don't you, always? Chev, the man behind you in the ring, your opponent, of course, was Saturday night, Ellis Sorrow, going through his paces. It's a chance for you to have a little look at him. I know you're the type of fighter who probably isn't very interested in that. You've done your work in the gym. How important is it to not read too much into what happened in his last fight with Jai Opetaia?
because we've all seen the Ryan Garcia-Haney fight, right? So, you know, he's going to try and come and Ryan Garcia me, right? So I need to be on my A game and make sure that that don't happen.
How important is for you? Where's your mindset at? Obviously, it's about winning, getting the W, but looking good. When you see what Opataya done to him up those levels, the levels that you want to get to, is this a case, in your opinion, where you feel you've got to stop him?
Nah, what he...
And by the way, I'm not overlooking Zorro here at all, because he's a good fighter, very good fighter, but I've just wondered where your mindset is.
That's not my business. My business is to go in there and do what Chev does, apply my trade and entertain as I normally do.
Safe to say you're enjoying this journey so far.
It's all right, man. It's you know...
Is it all it cracked up to be when you left the Olympics and you looked to turn professional? Is this how you imagine?
Honest,
is this where you thought you would be after only a handful of fights?
First and foremost, when I left the Olympics, I didn't think about going professional again. It's my friends that kind of helped me flip that page. But you know what? I'm just taking it a fight at a time. I dedicate my life to it like I love it. And it's producing results, right? So just keep doing what I do and keep leveling up.
Good co-commentator as well, Chev.
You are, brilliant.
Thank you.
Just finally, like we just said there, you said this is about you giving back to the people who've helped you in your story. Obviously, when you moved over from Jamaica, we did a piece, check it out on the Matchroom Boxing YouTube channel if you haven't seen it. Who Made Me? Chev Clark is the name of the piece, and we interviewed your next door neighbour, your old football coaches as well. Will it be proud for you, and how motivating is it for you to win the belt and take it back home to Gravesend to them people?
100%. That's a part of the motivation, but what the most motivating part of it for me is just for them to look at me and say, you know what, he's not changed. He's developed, but he's not changed as a person. And that to me is very important, because it doesn't matter where I get in life, I'll always be that Chev that they always knew. Do you know what I mean? And no material things that I get or no notoriety can ever change me. So, you know, that's the most important thing, you know?
Sorry for this one, Darren. I'll tell you what, by the time you make your ring walk, it's going to be loud.
Okay.
It is going to be loud in there. Have you been to the First Direct Arena before?
No, but I was in Ireland for my last fight, and I was told it was going to be loud. But the thing about it is, yeah, it doesn't matter how loud it is. It doesn't matter how many fans you have. They can't come in and fight for you.
Looking forward to this one. Looking forward to this one. Chev, all the best. I believe you've
Thank
got
you
to go in the ring now and go through your paces at the workouts. We'll throw back to Ben to bring Chev into the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the ring one of the premier cruiserweights in British boxing. His record is a perfect one. 8 fights, 8 wins, with 6 big wins inside the distance. He's got dynamite in both hands this weekend. He challenges for the British cruiserweight title from Gravesend, Kent. It's C4 Siobhan Clark.
Here is Chev Clark, described by those who know him as a bundle of joy, an infectious character, always with a big smile on his face. This, the 50th contested British cruiserweight title fight since the belt's inception in 1985, unless my stats have let me down. Chev 8-0, 6 knockouts after turning professional with Sam Mullins, turns out of the Churchill Boxing Club, of course, in London. So far, Darren, when you look at the crop of Olympians, obviously Ben Whittaker and Galal Yafai, Fraser Clark, Chev's not been in a dull fight, has he? I think it's fair to say.
No, and I think that's why people are very happy when they see his name on the bill. Very exciting. He's a good personality out the ring, like you touched on. He is a bundle of joy. He's great to be around. I like having him on the commentary desk when he makes the odd appearance on Before the Bell. He's brilliant. He really, really is. And I think as a fight fan, first and foremost, someone that likes to see entertainment. I like to see fighters leave it all in the ring that Eddie's touched on. He does that. He gets stuck in, but he's got a bit of everything, hasn't he? Where he's got that amateur pedigree, very, very good in an Olympian. He knows how to look after himself. He can sort of box and move when he has to. He can ride the storm, and I think naturally that fire, that aggression that he has always shines through and makes him a very dangerous fighter.
As we said earlier, he felt like the avoided man, didn't he? Was mandated for the British title a good while ago. Had to wait for this shot, felt he was ignored. Went across to Belfast and took out Tommy McCarthy in January quicker than the likes of Chris Billham-Smith, Richard Riakporte, Michael Sislak were able to do it, as Jack Catterall has just wandered in behind us. Jack, if you just turn around face that camera there. I think we're going to be out of vision for the best part as well. Chev Clark just going through his paces. It's a great undercard, but it's a great main event. And for you, I guess the obvious question to say is, we are finally here. Did you ever have doubts, Jack, that we'd be in Taylor Catterall 2 fight week?
Yeah, of course, but ultimately, the public have been banging on about it, the fans, the boxing fans, everybody. I'm getting asked every day of the week, so in the back of my mind, I knew that this fight was eventually going to happen. But we're here now.
You're looking very good, I must say. Weight good.
Weight's good, everything's good.
Where's your mindset at? This is a massive fight where there's so much on the line, and one of the big things is, look, hate runs deep. It's on the slogan. There's that added pressure. Is there added nerves because of that?
No, definitely not. I take confidence from how hard I've worked in the gym. And for me, these next couple of days are about being selfish, looking after, spending time with my team, switching off, and when it's time to go to work in the dressing room, I'll flip that switch and we'll be ready.
Do you expect it to be fiery this week between you and Josh? I feel like, we spoke yesterday at the media day. I feel like both of you have spent so much time around each other. The face-offs, has the edge maybe worn off a little bit just on that side of things, or are you expecting as the weight comes down?
We seen each other last night and there wasn't a word spoken from him. We'll see, it might change as he's making weight, as I'm making weight at the weigh-in Friday, but right now he's not much to say, and I think we're both focused on the job.
We were talking about this yesterday, about what means more to Jack Catterall, becoming a world champion or exacting revenge, as you see it, beating Josh Taylor. How would you sum up those two?
Yeah, I put them both in different categories. For me, it's personal with Josh. It's a fight that I believe I won. I'm excited to put that right, but I still have goals and aspirations of being world champion, so but one step at a time. I've got a big fight Saturday, and that's all I'm focused on.
I've gone back and forth. I can't split you. Can you understand, after that first fight, can you understand why people think this is a 50-50 fight?
100%. Listen, before the first fight, there was a lot of people saying, and there were questions from myself. I'd never boxed at a world level, but then you was fighting the 4-belt undisputed champion, so a lot of people wrote me off. People that believed me and knew me sided with me, but again, I think the fallout after the first fight, the articles of Josh maybe taking his eye off the ball, being unprepared, people are seeing that and saying, well, you know what, if he turns up 100% Saturday, he should beat me. Well, good luck to them.
Interesting. I spoke to Joe McNally, Josh's trainer, of course.
Joe McNally.
Interesting. He said that you underperformed, he felt, and he felt Josh underperformed
Joe McNally
as well tonight. Where's that come from? Where's that feeling come from?
No. You know what? Couldn't care what Joe McNally's got to say.
Well, he was just going to say that, he's expecting a better version of both of you on the night. Would you agree with that, at least?
Yeah, listen, I expect the best version of Josh. That's what I prepared for. I prepared and fit him well, and I'm ready to go.
Who do you think the delay suits? Has it helped you in any way, or was you ready to go back then? A lot of time has passed now for Josh, who's been around a long time. Do you think that delay perhaps suits you?
You know what, it's just been an inconvenience. We was talking about this fight for some time now. We was negotiating at the back end of last year. We was hoping for a January, February date. We're in May, but these are the cards we've been dealt, and all you can do is look after yourself and deal with the cards that you dealt, which is May the 25th, and it's fight week now, so let's have it.
How many times have you visualised the ring walking out into that noise at the Leeds Arena and making your way into the ring, Jack?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time training for this fight, thinking about the fight. You think about everything. I got to go into the first direct arena yesterday, which were nice. To see all the stands, it were empty, but I know come Saturday night it'll be bustling in there.
We push you for a prediction.
Pardon?
How do you see yourself beating Josh on Saturday night?
I see me beating him in emphatic style. I believe I'm the better boxer. I'm stronger and fitter and faster. My defence is better. I think I'm all around the board, so a Jack Catterall victory on Saturday.
You described it to me. You want to make it slow and painful.
Yeah, listen, and that goes with all of them. With every fight, you want to make it painful. I want to hurt him, and that's where we're at.
Can't wait. I cannot wait.
Runs deep.
Indeed. I can't wait for this, Jack. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, Jack. Thank you.
To jump in. Chev Clark just wrapping up there. As we said, went over to Belfast, didn't he, Darren? And took out Tommy McCarthy quicker than Billum Smith, quicker than Riakporhe, and Mikhail Sislak were able to do it.
Vicious, spiteful and horrible.
Yep. How far away is he? We were just saying it there. How far away is he from these guys?
Not far off. 3-4 fights and you're right there. I mean, it's a very good fighter, lots of talent, so the future's bright, but he's got to take care of business. Zoro's got the bit between his teeth, and he's going to try and right the wrong of that last fight and prove that he's the boss domestically.
Well, absolutely no worries. Nigel Travis just walking straight in front of
he does
the
what
live
he
stream there.
wants.
Yeah, exactly. I think we'll let him off. Back to Ben in the ring, because it's time to bring in the main event. I believe we're actually just waiting for Jack to come back. Let's see if we can bring someone in. Sam Jones.
Sam, yeah, Sam.
Let's bring Sam Jones in to the live stream.
I was having a bit of a wait.
He's terrified of the cameras, this one.
I'm the round filler.
Sam, here we are.
Yes.
We're finally here. All the back and forth, all the talking. I guess it's irrelevant now, really, because ultimately it's up to Jack and Josh to go in the ring and prove who's the better man.
Yeah, sure. Listen, the fight sold. Did 2 big press conferences. It was a lot of fun. But now it's just who gets. It doesn't matter who's done what in sparring, who's had the bet. All about what happens under the lights on Saturday.
You got Jack big in this, haven't you?
It's not just big. I just believe, like I've said so many times again, people try and lure me out to try and criticise Josh.
I was getting you at it this
No,
morning,
I know. Listen, Josh for me is the best Scottish fighter there's ever been. Genuinely, people might say he's not now, but when he's retired, I believe they will say he is due to his achievements. His performance against Ramirez was fantastic. I thought he's had an amazing career. I just believe Jack has a style that beats Josh Taylor. That's all I believe, and I believe Jack's getting better with activity because his career has been plagued with inactivity. Josh is boxing once a year, so I believe that's all going to play a factor, but I believe Jack's the better man.
Can you understand why people think this is a 50-50?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, they don't think it is. Josh is the favourite with the bookies, so he's the favourite, and what he's got going off what he's won, he's probably rightfully to be the favourite. So it is what it is. It all counts what happens on the night.
Part of the reason you were so disappointed after what happened in the first fight was that you said, look, that would have been Jack's opportunity. His life would have completely changed.
Yeah.
So how are the feelings now? Look, we were talking to Eddie earlier. He's so well placed. I think number 6 at a minimum across the board. I think number 7 with a Ring magazine currently. If he beats Josh Taylor, no doubt will take his place as well. But this is a real moment, isn't it? A sliding doors moment. Not just to win a fight and get revenge, but to really change his and his family's lives who are here with him today.
It's more the profile of the fight because everyone, look, everyone's interested in this fight due to the controversy sells, doesn't it? And unfortunately, at Jack's expense. So it's up to Jack to go in there and write what everybody believe. Listen, most people with a pair of eyes believe was a wrong that night. And listen, he'll want to prove a point as well, Josh, that Jack fluked it. So let's see who the better man is.
You played your part, Sam.
Huh?
You played your part in the launch press conferences. Are you expecting a bit of stick this week or not?
No, I don't know because, listen, on that first day, Eddie was kind of winding me up a little bit, going, oh, you've got to do this. So I literally banged 3 cups of coffee and I heard someone criticise my haircut, Jamie. So I thought, no, you're all having it today. We had fun up there, didn't we? We had fun. It was a good press conference.
Built it nicely.
Yeah, it built it nicely.
You're a character in the story. Pantomime villain,
whatever
you are.
Anybody wants to call me. I just want to make Jack the most amount of money, deliver big fights for him, world titles, and let him retire with his brains intact. That's the game. That's the aim of the game.
Well, let's get Jack in the ring. Here's MC Ben.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the ring a man who is one of the premier super lightweights on the planet. This weekend, he aims to settle the score in our main event contest as he continues his quest for gold. He has a record of 29 fights, 28 wins, and 1 controversial defeat from Chorley, Lancashire. Please welcome El Gato, Jack Catterall.
I'll tell you what, Jay, he looks very fresh, calm, relaxed, Jack Catterall, I'd say. I just see him there. It looks as if someone that has no miles on the clock, lots of self-belief, someone who's just raring to go. You know, I asked him that question because can you imagine the mindset of someone going into a fight with that much bad blood? It must be terrifying.
Trained, of course, by Jamie Moore, another one of my famous and favourite former British champions. In fact, my favourite.
Yeah. Do I feature on this list at all?
You're there somewhere. you're there or thereabouts. But he's had to wait a long time, Darren, for what he feels is his shot at redemption. Feels as many did that night. He should have been crowned undisputed world champion in Glasgow. This is his moment to rewrite the script as he sees it with Josh Taylor. Struggled with inactivity, hasn't he, a little bit, Jack? The first fight in February 2022 took 455 days for him then to get back in the ring when he signed a promotional agreement, of course, with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. Due to the rematch with Josh being cancelled, boxed Dara Foley in May last year and then Jorge Linares, of course, in October. And when you are so fired up like these two are, Darren, you've talked about him looking calm. Important to control the emotions, because this man, from what I've seen so far this week, is the coolest character in the room.
Yeah, he is. I see him outside the hotel, calm, relaxed. He's been part of some very, very big fights. But probably none that have had this much needle, this much tension, this much bad blood between the two. So it's kind of alien, I guess, for Josh as well.
Well, let's bring in the main man, Mr. Josh Taylor. Josh, great to see you. We opened with the same question for Jack, so we'll open with the same one for you. We're finally here. It's taken a little while, over 2 years in the making, back and forth, rescheduled dates, but the hate is going to spill over into the ring on Saturday night. However you see it, how does it feel to be in Fight Week finally?
Sorry, what was that? Listen,
how does it feel to be in Fight Week finally?
Yeah, good, yeah, finally here. You know, it's been a long time coming, you know. I feel like I've been over this 100 times, saying with the situation, we had the rematch on, got the injury and all that sort of carry on, so yeah, it's been a long time coming, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It must be desperate to put this to bed. It must have played on your mind an awful lot, you know, I don't know if you'd call it stick, or you actually said yourself in Edinburgh in the first press conference.
Yeah, I have had a lot of stick, you know, but it's never take it personal, you know, but I will be taking it out on Jack on Saturday night, and, you know, it's just another boxing match.
But even for your own peace of mind, knowing that you said it yourself, underperformed, you just want to right the wrong now, put in a good performance and get the W.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we're focused on. You know, we forget the last fight, forget everything that's going on. This is a completely different fight, new circumstances, no belt on the line. Yes, there's some beef there, but listen, I'm a consummate professional. I'm enjoying Fight Week, and I can't wait to get in there on Saturday.
You said you learned your lessons, Josh, after the first fight. How differently are you viewing the man behind you in comparison to how you did in the first fight?
What was that?
How differently are you viewing Jack Catterall now in comparison to how you did the first fight?
I've taken him more seriously for a start. You know, that was the biggest mistake I ever made. You know, the first lesson in the art of warfare is never underestimate your opponent, and that's what I've done the last time massively, and I almost paid the price for it. I'm not doing that this time. You know, I know he gave me a tough fight the last time, and I had to dig deep and stuff. So I know what I've got in front of me now this time, so I know the threat that's there now, and I'm taking it seriously this time. So I've made sure I've covered all bases in training camp this time. So yeah, I'm feeling good.
You told me something. We spoke at the British Boxing Board of Control Awards, and you were telling me about Uriah and how you were surprised at how you compete at such a high level.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how much better the eye is now, and you was almost describing it as having like HD vision now.
Yeah, I remember telling you that actually. It was the Boxing Board of Control dinner, and it was like, how's your eyes? I was like, yeah, it's like a panoramic view. Do you know? I described it as, you seen the video of the little kid when he can see for the first time when they put the specs on, and I was like, I know how that little baby feels. You know, it was like such a difference, and it was like, I just don't know how the hell I was able to compete at world level, elite level, against Teofimo and Ramirez at that level and win, never mind just compete, you know. And my vision was so impaired in the double vision, but it was just a slight minor procedure with just a little bit of the twist in the eyeball to sort it really. So yeah, it was nice, simple procedure, and we're flying off all four cylinders now. So yeah.
When you look at what you've achieved, Josh, we spoke about this yesterday, that fighters who achieved what you've achieved can only dream of it, really. In most cases, you could sit on a beach and enjoy your retirement with your family now. What keeps you in the gym? What keeps the fire going? And what is the ambition now?
Because I still love this game, and I've still got ambitions to become a world champion again. You know, take care of this guy on Saturday, and then we'll see what happens, see what the lay of the land is. You know, there's some big fights out there at 140 and 147, and I believe I can become world champion again, 100%. You know, if I didn't have that desire, I can retire right now. I've had a great career. I've had a stellar career. You know, so far. You know, it's like I can retire now and I'm 1 in 65 million. The only person to become undisputed world champion in the UK in the full belt era. So I can happily sleep at night, but I've still got the desire in my stomach to achieve more.
Coming in, right.
And I still enjoy it, and I still really very much enjoy and love the game.
That is the most important thing. Yeah. But right, Saturday night, how does the fight play out?
Just a Josh Taylor win by any means necessary. You know, if it's out boxing, I'm out jabbing, out working him. If it's out fighting him, if it's a knockout, great. But just the Josh Taylor win.
When you were in the arena yesterday, I caught you were just having a little look around, and I imagine as a fighter, is that what just gets the juices flowing? Do you start to picture yourself and what the atmosphere is going to be like in there on Saturday?
Yeah, I got a little bit of a surprise at the size of the arena. You know, it's like it's right on top of you. You know, so yeah, it's going to be a great atmosphere. It's going to be very, very loud, and Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be, yeah,
Can tell.
yeah,
You can
can't
tell.
wait. The eyes are lighting up just thinking about the noise and the atmosphere, you know. So it's going to be amazing on Saturday
Do
night.
you think the Scottish fans will make themselves heard in there on Saturday as well?
Oh yeah, they always make themselves heard wherever they go. So yeah, don't worry about that. It's going to be good.
So excited.
I'm expecting a little bit of hostility as well, you know. So
Yeah, it will be.
It's going to be a bit of both. So I'm looking forward to it.
I just said to Darren, Josh, just before you walked on there, we were talking about mindset, but you seem like the coolest character in the room right now. Nice and relaxed.
Yeah,
Exactly
I am.
where you should be.
Yeah, I am. I'm nice and relaxed at the end of the day. It's just another boxing match. You know, yes, there's a little bit of beef there, but it just gives me fire in my stomach to train that bit harder and do that little bit extra in the gym and stuff, a little bit extra motivation. So, yeah, it's just another fight week, another boxing match on Saturday night, and I come away victorious on Saturday and move forward.
Josh, we wish you the very best of luck. Thanks for joining us. I know you've got to go and get ready
Cheers,
now.
mate. Thank you.
For your own public workout too, as we just follow the coverage with Jack Catterall in the ring, as we were saying there. Struggled a little bit with inactivity. We've talked about him needing to control the emotion. He beat Linares, Darren, who, let's be honest, is an absolute legend of the sport, isn't he, Jorge Linares? Perhaps not the same fighter as he was of yesteryear. It went 12. How much better will Jack have to be to beat Josh Taylor?
Yeah, if I'm deadly honest, Jamie, I think he showed Jorge Linares, and rightly so, probably a little bit too much respect. And you can understand that. The man can obviously still punch. That's the last thing you lose as a fighter, is your power. And you're going to be, I wouldn't say in awe of your opponent, but certainly what they've achieved, in awe of their successes as a fighter. So I can get that. I guarantee you now, if Jack Catterall was to fight Linares again, you'd see a more spiteful version, and I think that's the version that we'll perhaps see Saturday night. I think it's so important for this man to get behind his jab, use his jab. That shot is so important for Jack Catterall, the variation in which he uses it, and that sets up the left hand that he couldn't miss Josh Taylor with. But now Josh has had the eye done. Was that the reason why he was taking too many left hands? There's so many questions here that I cannot wait, Jamie, to be answered.
Yeah, battle of the southpaws indeed. And like you say, if there have been any, not critique, maybe we'll call it constructive criticisms towards Jack, like you say, it has been just the ability to go through the gears when he needs to.
In some ways, that makes him harder to beat, because he doesn't give you any opportunities to land any shots. He's very, very, very disciplined. He sticks to his own game plan. He doesn't sidetrack from it. Yes, you might want to see him bite down his gum shield a little bit more and really try and go for the dramatic finish, but why make this sport any easier than you have to?
Well, like you just said there, I think you meant why make this sport harder than you have to. You said easier. Sonny Edwards
harder,
always says this. You know, why take risks?
Exactly.
If you're so far ahead in a fight, why take risks? And I think we saw that in that Linares fight.
About there, you know,
just before, Darren, just before we carry on, is Ben to bring in Josh Taylor for the final time today. Here he is, our MC.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a man who headlines at the First Direct Arena this weekend in his quest to settle the score. He's a former World Boxing Super Series winner and a former undisputed super lightweight champion of the world. 20 fights, 19 wins, with 13 big wins inside the distance from Scotland. The Tartan Tornado, Josh Taylor.
Yeah, like I said, you want to make this game as easy as you can. Why make it any more difficult than you have to? And that's what Jack does so well.
Well, I am certainly excited. Here is Josh Taylor, the Tartan Tornado, my favourite Commonwealth Games gold medalist. I've been saving these up, Darren.
You haven't, you? You're pulling them out. But one thing I will say is it just showed you how much I've achieved.
Oh, yeah. Well, do you know what? It's a compliment. It is a compliment.
There is,
that list is long. That list is long of what you don't quite reach the top of in many cases. But here he is, Josh Taylor, just going through his paces here. Give us a little chance to have a look at him. Former WBC, WBA, WBO, IBF and Ring Magazine undisputed super lightweight champion of the world. Although your resume was good, Darren, that's not a terrible one either, is it?
Oh, it surpasses mine tenfold. I mean, what a fighter, what he's achieved is remarkable. It really is. Incredible achievements, but he's a very good fighter. You know, you look at his fight going back to pro grade. What a fight that was! I worked that night. It was special. The Ramirez performance. I mean, class. I mean, he has been proven at the top, the highest level, and that's what confidence he will take into this fight, knowing that, you know, in his words, an off night, but he can call back on those experiences and say, look, do you know what I mean? This is the kind of fighter I am. This is the level that I fought at. And if I can get it right on the night, I should be winning this fight. But it's you know, I've gone one way then the other. It really is a pick and fight.
Just one fight, of course, since the first fight with Jack. That was a points decision loss to Teofimo Lopez in June last year at Madison Square Garden. But he tells us he's fit, ready, inactivity isn't a problem. This, of course, his second fight with Joe McNally and Declan O'Rourke. You can see Joe McNally, who might be getting in the ring in just a moment. Certainly Joe has done something to upset Jack Catterall. Anyway,
Something's happened there.
Something's happened. Be good to get Joe on and ask him what happened there. But this is his second fight out of the Rotunda ABC in Liverpool. And as we said earlier, Joe McNally believes he felt both Josh and Jack underperformed in that first fight. But he's predicting his man, Josh Taylor, to win what he's described a landslide points victory on Saturday.
Oh, I don't know if anyone is winning this by a landslide. You know, I can see pros and cons for both. But one thing is for sure, for me, Josh Taylor has to be aggressive and try and set the tempo like we've already touched on. Jack Catterall, he's certainly not lazy, but he works very, very well. And I think it's important to try and dictate the pace when you're fighting Jack Catterall. But in doing so, you've got to be careful that you're not walking onto that lovely left hand, and certainly that lead right hand, that jab of his, which he has so much variation with. Hook, jab to the body, hook to the body. So, yes, he's got to be aggressive. I think a lot of non-punching activity, feinting with the hands and the feet, try and draw out that jab from Catterall, then jump in when you countered. He's got the ability to do it. He's got speed and abundance with hand, foot, reactions. A very, very special fighter. How much is left?
Well, that is the question, isn't it? That is the question that keeps getting posed. But again, it goes back to our argument earlier, Darren, where, you know, Josh is an undisputed world champion. He gets the nod over Jack Catterall in a fight that many thought was controversial. Loses to a great fighter in Teofimo Lopez, and then all of a sudden, what's he got left?
Yeah.
Are the questions? You know, it just shows you at any level that those questions can be posed to you if something doesn't go quite right on one night.
Yeah, I mean, it's silly, really, isn't it? It's crazy. But still, again, mentioning names that you just mentioned just shows you the level that he's been competing at. And I'm confident there's still big nights left in him. There's still plenty of fire and desire. He will not want to lose this. So it's a great, great fight. It's going to be a great occasion. The roof is going to come off of this venue. It's going to be explosive. The fight's going to show us a bit of everything. So buckle your seatbelt. Hate runs deep.
Well, relationships are important in this game, because this is a man who's a tough man to pin down, I know, for the media, for interviews. It's Joe McNally. Joe, Joe, I've got to ask you one question. We had Jack Catterall in here a moment ago. He didn't have too many good things to say about yourself. What's happened between you two? Have you said something that's upset him, or?
Sorry to me and...
But Jack Catterall seemingly wasn't too happy with yourself for whatever reason. Where do you think that's come from?
I don't know. Maybe it's his nerves. I don't know. What have I done? It's not
sure.
fighting me, is it?
I don't know. That's why I wanted to ask you.
He just causing trouble.
No, I'm not. Yeah, you can watch it back. I'll have to send you it.
I think he's an okay kid, really. Yeah. I don't know why.
So Josh, it's been a delay. He looks in great shape. How's camp been? How confident are you that he can put this to bed correctly on Saturday night?
I'm really confident, Aaron. You know, it's a case of he's just got to take what he's been doing in the gym the past 10 weeks into Saturday night. And if he implements a strategy, keeps us cool and follows instructions, he'll come away victorious, yeah. He's had a fantastic camp. He's done all his road work, his conditioning, 150 plus rounds of sparring, he's ready. His weight's good, so he's more than ready he's ever going to be. So Saturday night to tell, yeah.
You said there he's ready than he'll ever be. Me and Darren, obviously, as we always do, we break down the questions that are around a big fight, and the question that is normally going to Josh Taylor's way at the moment is he still the Josh Taylor of old? What has he got left? You've seen it closer than anyone, Joe, over the last few months. Is he firing on all cylinders still? From what you're the fighters you've worked with, what are you working with right now, this version of Josh Taylor?
Yeah, you know, Jade, there's always that question, have they still got it, have they this? You know, he's had a few lackluster performances, and for me, you know, with the Teofimo fight, he couldn't run, couldn't do circuit training with the injury that he picked up in preparation for this Catterall with the first fight. So I wasn't really happy. Obviously, I'm a big advocate that, you know, you've got to really prepare diligently in a fight won and lost in the gym. And for this fight, there's nothing he couldn't do. So this is why I'm confident and I'm happy. Now it's, you know, a lot lies on the fighter to then implement himself on the man. The core element of boxing is following instructions and carrying out a game plan and forcing your will on the guy. He does that Saturday. He wins. He's super fit, and you know, I thought he was remarkable in some rounds against Teofimo, also really good, but then, you know, he didn't look really too good in the rest of the rounds. It was hot and cold, and he maintains the consistency on Saturday night. I'm expecting a shutout victory.
You mentioned game plan. I'm not going to push you on the game plan, but there was periods in that first fight where he looked good, Josh, when he was the aggressor, when he was dictating the pace. Are we going to see something similar on Saturday night, where he's in charge of the pace?
Yeah, you know, Darren, I think this fight, it's got a lot of elements in, and people like game plan, this game plan. These two men know each other very well. They've had 12 championship rounds together. He's got a fantastic team behind him, Jack, with Jamie and Nigel. And look, you know, we've made a few fine adjustments that I think will work in the contest to nullify Jack. He's very effective, and let's not beat round the bush, you know. It was very controversial, the first fight, and Josh come away with the victory, but in my eyes right now, no one's solved the Jack Catterall puzzle right now. And Saturday night, we want it to unravel, and if Josh listens and implements what he's got to do Saturday, he will solve that puzzle and come away victorious. Yeah.
Well, Joe, great to catch up with you as well.
Jamie,
I'm trying to fist bump you here, but I'm sort of balancing all sorts.
Yes,
good to see. If you want to pass that mic back to Darren, Joe. Great to catch up with Joe McNally. What a top man as well. Be interested to see if he goes after Jack Catterall now.
Troublemaker.
I know, stirring the pot. This fight doesn't need that.
No.
Do you? We were saying, you know, working behind the scenes. Sometimes you're writing promo scripts and you're writing lines to maybe suggest to the fighters to say, to not create narrative, but build narratives around the fight and draw interest from punters.
Yeah, and I don't think it matters in this scenario when the slogan is hate runs deep.
But what I'm saying is, for this fight, there is none of that. You don't have to do that.
No, I don't think so. Look, it's all been done. It's all been said.
Yeah.
The fighters are both extremely confident. There's so much on the line. Can you imagine? I always visualise when we're early on in the week, the energy just before that first bell. You know, when the referee brings them to the centre of the ring and then they walk back to the corner just before that first bell. The energy in that arena is going to be electric. It really is. You know, I can't wait. I
think that says how
so good.
You're a fan.
This is what, look, last week we had an epic battle, history-making, undisputed heavyweight title, first in a four-belt era, first in 25 years. This is what boxing needs. Straight after that, another massive fight, another juicy fight where there's two fighters extremely confident with so much on the line. It's incredible.
Jack getting married next week as well.
They want to get out unscathed.
Well, yeah, I think he will. But it just adds to the drama, doesn't it, with the rescheduled days and
next week.
And then next week we're in Riyadh, of course.
We're in Riyadh
for the 5v5. I mean, there's so much to look forward to. I think I said it the other week that the boxing is smiling at the minute. Enjoy it while we've got it. Enjoy the fights because they just keep on rolling in right here on DAZN. That was the public workout. That was our first chance in fight week to hear from the fighters, look into their minds and hear what they've got to say ahead of Saturday night. The talking will continue, of course, with the press conference tomorrow. Join us from midday for the undercard presser before a short break before the main event press conference. Perhaps the second face-off as well of fight week. Who knows, it might be a little bit spicier. From myself, Jamie Ward, from former IBF World Middleweight Champion, Mr. Darren Barker, just give him a little plug because I pulled him down a few pegs throughout that live stream. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us here today. We'll see you tomorrow.
Right now, I think he's an absolute genuine bad blood.
Hate.
Coming in there to do damage.
Rivalry.
He's a little arrogant piece of
I can't wait to smash his head in.
What do you think of that all by yourself, Jack?
These guys want to attack on the site. It is the most intense, fierce rivalry I've ever seen.
This is not bravado. Can't wait to get my hands on it.
Once I beat him, it's game over.
That's Jack Catterall, the man who lost to Josh Taylor.
May the 25th. I can't wait.